Hey guys, it's Tasha. Thank you so much for stopping over and welcome to my altar. Welcome to my little magical space and my little place on the internet. So thank you for stopping by and hanging out with me. It's been a little while since I've made a video dealing with a couple of life curveballs, as we all do. But things are getting much better in my life, so I feel good. And while I've been away, I've been watching a lot of content, and I've seen a few of my favorites doing the 2022 tag that Ravenflower had done. And Owlvine, I was watching hers and I had said I wanted to do it, and she said, you should do it. So I'm going to do it. And I love the questions. So here we are. So these are the 2022 Ravenflower tag, and I'll put the questions below, and if you want to join in, please do so. So I tag you basically. Just do it. If you want to do it, do it. So the first question, New Year resolutions, do you believe in them? I have my own way of doing them. I'd like to add a little witchy spin on as many things as I can in my life. So what I do is every year I decide if I'm going to have a year that corresponds with one of the four elements. So for example, the 2 years that I was in school, I had my New Year's resolution was just air. So the mind. So this was going to be a year of air. So what did that mean for me? That meant more studying, setting time out for school, setting time out to read my books, to prepare, learning, working on my communication skills, learning my craft, learning my work, just kind of talking to people. So that would be like a year of air for me. A year of earth would be a year of focusing on my body. So it wouldn't be necessarily the resolution to just, oh, I'm going to lose weight this year. No, it's going to be a year of my body. So I'm going to think about what can I do all year to help my body. What does that even mean? Does that mean exercising? Awesome. Does that mean eating foods from the earth? Awesome. Spending more time out in nature and actually with the earth? Awesome. All helping the body, all helping that physical being. I'll do a year of water where I'm working on my emotional health and emotional well-being. 2022 has been a year of water forced upon me, it feels like already, and it's only February. But I feel like this is going to be a year of emotional development and maybe some emotional maturity also on my part. A year of fire would be for me a year of transformation, a year of going for it, maybe working on doing things out of my character, so taking risks more, or being more social or extroverted, pushing myself, a year of really working on myself and doing that hard work. Yeah, so that's how I do New Year's resolutions. I've been doing that for a few years and I like it. It works. It's something that is easier for me. During a year of air, for example, maybe I'll pay extra attention to birds and I'll learn about local birds. So there's all kinds of little things that you can do throughout the year to continue your theme. It doesn't just have to be, oh, well, it's a year of the body, I'm just going to work out all the time. Well, it could be a year of the body, but also you're learning about nature, like the local flora and fauna or whatever. So there's all kinds of things you can do and you don't feel pressure to just do one thing. So that's my answer for that. So why or why not? Why is because of all those reasons I said before. I think it's a nice thing to do to set goals. I think it's nice to set goals when others are setting goals because you can kind of feed off that. So I'm not opposed to New Year's resolutions, but I also know if I were to just say, Tasha, you aren't going to eat any more candy this year, I will end up eating a bunch of candy. I cannot do that. I have to work with myself and gradually have a bigger theme or a bigger goal in mind than just one thing. So I don't work with a traditional, but if I can think of a more abstract way of setting goals and then achieving them, that works for me. What are your favorite colors? It changes all the time. All the time. I always kind of default at red. I also love black. But I also love pink, like bubblegum pink. I have right over here, you can't see it, a like glamour robe that's like hot bubblegum pink. It just depends on my mood, I guess. I would say out of clothing, I always feel more comfortable in black. I dress in black every day for work, and I dress in black most of the time at home too, but I do like having color as well, but I would say probably black or red. Does your favorite color hold emotional or magical meaning to you? I like the color red because of confidence, and also it's my grandmother's favorite color, so it always makes me think of her. I always question, did red become my more consistent favorite color because it was her favorite color? Probably. So I do have a connection to her through that color. I do think of her when I see red clothing or just the color in general. And with black, I do associate black with the unknown and mystery and like fearlessness, seeking the void, seeking the darkness, not being afraid to explore the occult or explore witchcraft or explore the unknown. So I do have I think those colors do have significance to me. All colors, all right? All colors. Do you use substances for divination or meditation? Flying oils, herbs, alcohol? I do. For the most part, I smoke pot like every day. Like that's pretty common for me. I like to smoke pot before doing ritual work here at the altar or before doing divination for myself. On the flip side, if I'm doing divination for someone else, it depends on who they are and my comfort level with them. If I don't know you, I'm not going to smoke a joint before I do a reading for you. Like, I don't think that's legit. Like, we have to know each other, you know? I feel like I can do both. I don't feel like it really enhances anything for me other than the fact that I just feel a little bit more relaxed, or kind of I can focus in a little bit more, especially if I'm doing like divination. I struggle with meditation anyway. I've tried some flying oils. I have a wonderful friend who is skilled in making flying ointment, and I've had the lucky pleasure of getting to use some of her flying ointments, and they kind of were nice. It was a wormwood one that I tried, and that was really nice. And I don't know if it was, I only put a little tiny bit on because I'm still freaked out a little bit with poisonous plants. I don't think I'll really get super into that. I don't trust myself, but it was just a little bit, but I did feel like I was really doing something a little dangerous and a little bit, yeah, just dangerous, which in and of itself made it kind of feel like a magical moment. So I'm not opposed to using anything like that. I'm not opposed to using mushrooms or anything from the earth to obtain spiritual experiences or connections. I think that they're there, so use them if you want to, but just do it safely and don't be dumb about it. Like, you know, be smart about it. I struggle like with magic mushrooms. I have tried to do like ritual on mushrooms. I've tried to do divination on mushrooms, and I cannot focus for the life of me. I've not really had a super profound spiritual experience on mushrooms. I've had insane experiences, but not any real like purposeful, I'm gonna go do some witchcraft while high. But I'm not opposed to it. So why or why not? I guess all those reasons above. I think if you don't want to do it, then don't. You don't need to. It's not going to make you more of a witch or less of a witch whether or not you choose to use substances. I mean, that's totally up to you and what you feel comfortable with. What's your favorite part of your practice? Oh man. That there's a lot of things that I love about my practice. I think my favorite is following the wheel of the year. I love celebrating the turning of the seasons. I'm not necessarily like I am referring to the eight, kind of the big eight, but also the actual wheel of the year, like being in tune with the seasons and feeling like I pay attention to that. I've always loved that about it. As soon as I started learning about kind of Wicca from Llewellyn books back in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, and then from that moment and becoming really aware of the sacredness of nature and how the divine is outside in nature, and you don't have to go to church, like you just can go outside. I've always loved that, and I feel like being attuned to that is an awesome part of my practice and my experience being a witch, because I do pay attention to the seasons. It doesn't matter what is going on in my life, what could be happening in my life, I'm still aware of what's happening outside my window or what is happening around me, and being aware of it, knowing kind of when the birds are going to come back and when they're going to leave, and when the leaves are going to start changing, when to plant, what frost to wait for. In my area, it's the June full moon. That's kind of where you have to wait before you can start planting, because you're going to get frost right into late June. So it's paying attention to the outside world. That is my favorite part about being a witch. Just being able to go outside and knowing, if I wanted to bring a little bit of love into my life and to feel cleansing in my body, I could get some rose hips out of the garden and make a tea, or I could make something for my husband. Or that just knowing when the geese are going to come back, just when the moon's going to be full, when it's going to be a new moon, just being aware of the cycles around us. I think that's, it gets me all excited. So the wheel of the year, and also the sabbats or sabbats. Like I love holidays. I love holidays. I've always have since I was a kid, and the more holidays I can celebrate, the better. So I love these special times of the year and just how they fit into where I am in the world and how they apply to my life. So that would be my favorite part of my practice. What's your least favorite part of your practice? I find the least favorite part of my practice is, and I don't want to rag on anybody, and I don't want to come off as like an asshole, but we're real over here. So the least favorite part of my practice is sometimes the community in the physical, like my physical community. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I just mean that people, they want stuff. Like, people say they want classes, or they want gatherings, they want events. And this is kind of pre-COVID, and I know we're kind of treading back into normal life, and it's weird, but people say, have these we would love these workshops. So people that I know, and myself too, but I kind of like slack, like hang on the edges, and I assist, but I'm not doing all the work. But people I know work really, really hard, and then people don't come out, or they won't show up, or you'll take the time and you'll book a venue and no one will come, and yet people are asking for it and you provide it and then they don't come. And it's just, or like we'll have, everybody's doing their own thing. Like there could be like 3 or 4 witches all living in like the area, and everyone's just gonna go do their own thing. And it's just, it would be nice to see like a pagan community day or a pagan gathering and having people come together. I know that in our hearts, a lot of us are solitary creatures. And I know the past 2 years, is kind of an exception. I don't blame anyone for not wanting to go out in public. I don't blame you for wanting to stay home. I don't blame you for any choices you make during these times. But even beforehand or after, I feel like we lack in that gathering spirit of coming out or volunteering or helping. Like, it's always the same people, which is awesome because these people are wonderful. But wouldn't it be awesome if we could have multiple voices and multiple people helping out? It would just take the load off, you know, for people who are trying to help. But anyway, that's kind of a little rant, isn't it, guys? I'm sorry. But that's my least favorite thing, because I love the idea of a contributing community of people. Like, there's so many talents and so many people that are like experts in all these awesome topics, and I just want to share your like wisdom with people, but everyone's so quiet and kind of in their little spots and their little groups, and I know that's good too, but I just wish that there was a greater joining of people and participation with people, and we could have more voices. That's the least. I want more voices in my local. Just more. I want to know what y'all are up to. I'm being nosy, I guess. I want to know what you're up to. Who are you hanging out with? What are you doing? I want to know. Where are you witching? Tell me. Excuse me. How do you feel your practice has grown over time? I'm a lot more aware of what I'm taking from, what I'm using, what paths I'm following. I'm a lot more conscious of not just reading a book and taking what an author is saying as truth. I was definitely one of those people who would just read a book and be like, okay, well, that's the answer. Like, okay, great, perfect. Don't need to ask any questions. And that has changed. When I started looking at the sources the authors of the books I were reading were using, and looking at like reading those books, that's kind of when I felt like my practice has shifted a little more, I guess, like getting deeper learning, deeper knowledge. I just try to be more conscious of supplies that I use, and I don't know, like, I'm a very materialistic witch. I'll be, you know, it's not that. But I try to use as many local herbs as I can when they're fresh, or buy from local shops, things like that, I guess. Whereas in the past, I really didn't care where things came from. I guess that's the answer to that question. I don't know. Is there a show or movie that inspires you? I've said this before, but I have no problem saying it again, and it's my channel, so I guess I can talk about it as much as I want. But The Wicker Man inspired me. It has inspired me in so many ways. That movie, obviously, we're not burning people, but creating effigies and burning them, taking and creating a figure out of old dead grass or crops from the past year, if I grew something or try to, then putting, you know, slips of paper of things you want to get rid of, or someone that's pissing you off, or something you want to bring into your life, whatever, and then lighting it on fire. It's very cathartic. It feels really, really good. So I love that, and I definitely had The Wicker Man inspire me for that. So The Wicker Man inspires my path with definitely the building of these kind of figures and then burning them. That's, if I can find a reason to burn some humanoid creature in a fire pit, I'm going to find that reason. Do you have a familiar? No, I don't. I do not. I have pets. I have a dog and I have a cat, but neither one of them really care anything about anything I do magically, and I don't feel like I have an animal that I work with in particular. I have animals that I love, that I really, really like. I have animals that sometimes I have dreams about. Lately, it's been polar bears, so I'll pay attention to that. But I wouldn't say that I have a familiar. Would you recommend any YouTube channels? There's so many awesome YouTube channels. I've recently, though, been watching a lot of Alavine Green. She's been creating a lot of great content over on her channel, and it's just so nice to be back listening to her wonderful videos and her perspective and just learning from her. So that channel I would highly recommend. Name something you must do daily for your mental, emotional well-being. I don't have like something that I do every single day. I struggle with routine. I need routine in my life. I'm going to work on that with this water. I know isn't a routine type thing, but it is going to be something, my issues with routine or something I'm going to work on during this water year thing. But I do like to come by the altar or put something on the altar. I just added these seashells that I picked up at the beach just the other day. I'll do things like that and add to it if I see something special. I've been saying rosaries, my own kind of version of the rosary during, my dad's been in the hospital, so I've been doing that as part of my daily practice, but it changes. I don't really feel if I don't do something that I'm off balance or off kilter, because honestly, I feel off balance and off kilter all the time. So even when I do something, I still don't feel like at peace or calm really. So I don't get like a draw to do it, but I would love to start. I would love to start taking little offerings to the altar, leaving little things, saying little prayers, and getting into a routine. That's been my goal since I've started my practice, and I just have never, ever achieved it. But I do little things, so I think that's something. What is something that started as an obstacle, but you now see as a blessing? That question, like I wrote these questions down a while ago, and as per usual, I just kind of decided, yeah, I'm going to do the video today, and I haven't thought about the questions since I wrote them down, and that's kind of like an intense question. It's a deep question. What is something that started as an obstacle, but you now see as a blessing? Oh my gosh. I don't know, like I'm trying to think of obstacles I've had in my path. Maybe confusion over wanting to work with like the Virgin Mary still. I struggled with that because I found it, I wanted to still incorporate parts of my childhood faith, which was my Catholic religion, my Catholic religion. You know what I'm trying to say. I've been drinking wine out of this pink skull cup, so it is what it is. But I wanted to incorporate parts of my Catholic childhood faith into my practice a little bit, but I also felt like I was treated so shitty by people when they found out that I wasn't Catholic anymore and I was leaving kind of church and I was doing my own thing and finding my own path, that I didn't want anything to do with that in my path. Like I wanted it cleansed of that, like none of it. And then I find as I'm getting older, I miss the Virgin Mary. That's what it was. Like that's the only real thing, was the Divine Mother. I missed her. I missed that kind of connection that I felt as a kid to that Divine Mother figure. So maybe that was an obstacle, I guess, was trying to get past, like, can I still work with her, worship her, and also have an altar to like Lucifer, which I have right over there. How can I work with these two very opposing forces, but also not, because they're in the same story, in the same mythology? But I started, and honestly, it works. I don't get any bad feelings about it, and I just feel a connection to her, and I don't think she cares that what you really believe in, as long as you are sincere. So I guess that would be my answer. That would be it. Which do you prefer? YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok? I still haven't gotten on TikTok. I want to, I just haven't. I'm lazy. I don't like Facebook, part of me, a whole lot. I like being able to connect with family and friends, and there are more people that I know on Facebook because I'm old. But I don't like it. I don't like it. I like Instagram. I like seeing pictures and what's happening in people's lives. Most of the people I follow are posting pictures of nature and little witchy things, and it's not, I don't see a lot of the superficial stuff that I know a lot of people don't like about Instagram, and I get that, but I just kind of don't see that in my feeds. So I just kind of, yeah, nature people, follow nature people, and you won't have any problems. But I like it. I like looking at the pictures and just not having to really communicate a whole lot. Like, not that I don't want to communicate, but sometimes it's just, you just want to creep around and look at pictures. So I like that. I prefer YouTube still. I'm of that generation, definitely. So YouTube is my favorite place to go. What do you feel is missing from the witchy community? Just see my rant about the thing I don't like. But I just wish that there was more. When there's in person, I wish there'd just be more. Everybody would get together at least once. Like, can we just once all get together? Like, everybody. It's not that big of a place. Like, can we all get together? Like, all of us, and just have an awesome gathering. How much space do you use for supplies and spell work? I use a lot of space. I heard the term maximalist. I think Owlvine used that word. And I was like, that is me. I like stuff. I like things. So I have this little nook corner of the room of witchy stuff. And then I have my bedside table that has my Baphomet statue on it. And then in the spare room, which I call my hoarder den right now because it just has a bunch of shit in it, because we're redoing a room in our basement. Excuses. It's messy in there. That room has books and stuff like that, which if everything wasn't in chaos, I would have a witchy room in there with stuff too. But right now, this is kind of my nook. This is my space. This is all the space I need really for everything that I do. Or I could just go outside and use that space there. So I don't need a bunch of space, but I do have the luxury of only being myself and my husband here. So I do have a spare room that I can put my stuff in. How many altars do you have in your home? Let me think about that. 1, 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5, depending if I'll put something in the bathroom. Right now there's about 4. There's 2 in my bedroom, 1 in the living room, 1 in the kitchen, 1 in the spare room. But they're kind of, one in the kitchen is like a kitchen witch one. They're kind of hidden. They're not obvious altars, except for the ones in the bedroom, but I know they're altars, and that's all that matters. What is your favorite Sabbath? It changes all the time, like my favorite colors. I love Ostara right now. That's kind of my jam recently, is thinking about spring, and my nephew's going to come over and we're going to make natural dyes and dye eggs. So I'm kind of excited about Ostara and planning something for that, and eating chocolate. So right now, Ostara, I love all of them though for different reasons, and I have different memories from all of them, and yeah, I love them all, but definitely I think right now I'm most excited about Ostara. Do you prefer tarot, runes, oracle cards, or a pendulum? Definitely tarot cards, but I have recently started using runes again. I had a couple, the dog actually found my bag of runes and they fell, these ones fell, some couple fell on the floor, so they ended up being quite, they made sense for what was going on in my life. So I have them on the altar here, and I'm going to start pulling a rune when I think of it, instead of pulling a tarot card, for just a little bit of advice and guidance. And the ones that fell out from the dog did really fit my life, so I've been working with them recently. Are you out of the broom closet? I am. I kind of always was. I don't know if I would recommend that. I had a very, very difficult upbringing because I was so out about my being a witch and being into the occult. I just am someone who I am who I am, and I wear it on my sleeve, and I have always been that way. I suck at just being subtle and hiding things. And I sometimes wish growing up that I kept it to myself a little bit more. But that said, I also never had to, no one is shocked that I'm still doing what I'm doing, and I don't have to deal really with my family or loved ones finding out, because everybody knows. I definitely wish I could have had some better relationships with some people who have since passed on. But that is the risk that you take for being yourself sometimes. And I always just want to live as myself. So I am out of the broom closet. Sometimes with my work, I worry about that. Just because I do work with a lot of people in the Christian community, and I worry that someone may not like me or judge me unfairly because of my involvement with witchcraft. It sucks that I have to think that way, but that's the reality, and it is what it is. Who are you going to tag in this video? Everyone. If you want to do this video, then I tag you. I would love for you to do it. If you do the video, could you please let me know below so I can watch it and check it out, because I definitely want to see your answers too. And I am so excited that I got to hang out with you, that I somehow did this in one take. Success. The dog didn't bark. He's sleeping. Success again. The fire didn't catch anything on fire. Success. So all is good. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I am looking forward to spending some time with you soon. Bye.